Alright, budget magic time. Playing some Rakdos aggro in modern. And we'll keep this. Decent curve, Blightning, the Rats, Vern Catacombs for our opponent. So, guessing Jund, but it could be other things. Oh man, if they can't hit us with discard, double Blightning is going to be pretty good, hopefully. Probably want a removal spell for like a Tarmogoyf. Oh, Stomping Ground. Well, I guess it could still be Jund. What's our opponent have on turn 2? Wooded Foothills. Cracks it. Gets a mountain. Oh, this is Scape Shift. Alright. Well, now we're hoping that our Blightnings are good enough. Let's play a Pack Rat and pass the turn. Not sure how this matchup goes. I assume that judging by our main deck, double Blightning is probably pretty close to what we want in this matchup. Opponent did not sack Sakura Tribe Elder. Explores. Are they missing land drops? Is that what's happening? Or do they suddenly just play 2 lands and kill us on the following turn? 1 land. And who passes? Well, let's Mountain. Let's attack with Pack Rat. If our opponent wants to do the block and sack, we will trade Pack Rat for Sakura Tribe Elder, if it means our opponent does not sack it. Opponent blocks. And sacks. Alright. That puts our opponent to 4 lands. Which means we... this is an interesting build of Scape Shift. Well, let's Blightning. We know we're... Oh... Man, if they have Obstinate Baloth main deck, I'm going to cry. Come on, no Baloths. Ooh, Shriekmaw and Loam. What is this deck? Is this like an Aggro Loam deck? What's happening? Something crazy is going on. Well, our Blightnings look much worse because our opponent has this Loam now. Opponent passes. Hunt Master of the Fells. That's relatively bad. Little less bad now that we drew a bolt. So let's play Sulphurous Springs. 1, 2, 3. Blightning our opponent down to 0 cards in hand. Faithless Looting and Anger. And then I guess we just pass the turn. See what our opponent does. If they pass and try to flip Huntmaster, we'll just bold it. And then, I don't know. Alright, opponent Loams. Mills 2 Seismic Assaults. Alright, so they are pretty clearly a aggro Loam deck. Loam's back some lands. And then Faithless Lootings. It's a combo. Get some free cards to discard, thanks to Loam. Or they just dredge. I'm assuming they actually want to draw here. Yeah, they actually draw. Discards 2 lands, plays a Ghost Quarter. So that's one of their draws. Goes to combat. Gets in with the wolf. Well, let's bolt Huntmaster. Drop to 18. And see what we draw. A swamp. Well, in that case, let's Abbot. See what we hit off Abbot. A lightning bolt. Yeah, let's bolt our opponent's face. Play the swamp. Get in for 1 with our Pack Rat. Basically, we got to kill our opponent before they get a Seismic Assault online. Because then they can just shoot down our stuff pretty regularly. Falconwrath Aristocrat should help. Opponent does not dredge. Plays Wooded Foothills. And passes. Gonna start Ghost Quartering. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Are we gonna make a rat? I don't think it's worth it. Unfortunately for our opponent, we have a ton of basics, so it's going to be very difficult for them to Ghost Quarter us out of the game. We do draw land. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Play Falconwrath Aristocrat. Play Dragon Skull Summit. Get in with our Falconwrath Aristocrat. Opponent's down to 6. Alright, pass the turn, and we will hopefully be able to win next turn. Even if our opponent draws a Loam, it should be challenging for them to wipe our board here, thanks to Aristocrat being indestructible. Although Aristocrat's 1 power away from being lethal on its own if we sack Abbot. Abbot would put it to 5, we need 6. I guess they could crack a fetch. Opponent passes. Plays another Wooded Foothills. Alright. We draw Vampire Lacerator. Well, I think we just attack with everything and see what our opponent does. Opponent blocks Abbott. Well, we will discard Lacerator, make a Pack Rat. This makes our board lethal, and we got there! Whoo! Alright, well, this deck has been performing pretty well. We don't have Graveyard Hate, unfortunately. Stone Rain doesn't really do it. Probably just probably just want Duress, I guess. Go down like Dreadbore, maybe a couple Terminates, the Forked Bolt, and try it like that. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think we just got to be the aggro, because if our opponent gets their combo online, we're going to have a hard time winning. But if we can be aggressive... alright, well, this hand's aggressive. Hopefully we don't get wrecked by an Anger of the Gods, but this hand seems reasonable. We'll keep. Blood Crypt tapped for our opponent. Well, let's Mountain and Swift Spear. Get in for 1. And pass turn. Jeez, it might be correct to just Swift Spear bolt our opponent's face next turn. Alright, opponent has Thoughtseize, so they can take the bolt. They might just take Swift Spear, though. At least it costs our opponent a couple life. I think they got to take one of Bolt and Swift Spear. Which one? I'm not 100% sure. Might just be Swift Spear, unless they have Anger. If they have Anger, it's probably Bolt. But I would imagine it's got to be one of those two. Yeah, they take the Bolt. And, oh, they don't have a land? Okay. Well, Mountain, Swift Spear. Get in with both. And pass the turn. Well, if our opponent does not find the lands for Anger, we're going to get an easy win here. I'm a little surprised our opponent kept it. Alright, there's a snow-covered forest. They must have a Sakura Tribe Elder. That would make the keep a little more understandable. Explore. I guess that makes sense as well. Did they hit a land off Explore? They did. Alright. We draw a land. Alright, let's... so bad. The problem here is Anger. We know our opponent has Angers. If we play Abbott, we could just get our board really wiped by Anger. But if we do nothing, then we're not pressuring. Question is, do we Abbott? I don't think we Rabblemaster. I think we save Rabblemaster for post-Anger. Yeah, let's Abbott. Abbott of Carol Keep. Our best hit might be just Lightning Bolt. Alright, it's a Mountain. Play the Mountain. I guess that's fine. We get the Mountain off the top of our deck. Still pretty nervous about getting angered here, though. So, opponent's down to 13. Oh, man, that was good running for our opponent. After missing their land drop to draw land, explore into second land. But I assume this deck plays a lot of lands. Aggro and Loam decks usually are pretty land heavy, so it's probably not that surprising, but still good running. They do get Smoldering Marsh, giving them Anger mana, if they have it. And if they have Anger, they just gotta fire it off. Jeez, another land. Good lord. Alright, Damnation, like Anger. Well, let's play the Swamp, and I think we're just gonna Rabblemaster here. And that gives us the opportunity to next turn land Terminate Blightning. Maybe our opponent tried to trick us by not playing a land? I don't know. I'm confused by the sequencing of our opponent. Maybe they just drew a string of lands. That's even more fortunate if their goal for living was Damnation, because that's a lot more mana when you keep a one-lander. Jeez. Alright, I'm starting to think that our opponent forgot to play a land or something. Either that or they just literally drew a land every single turn of the game, which is pretty crazy. Including their extra draw off of, oh no, is this Anger too? Jeez, opponent, they got it. Do they have anything else to go with it? Alright. Well, let's see what we draw. Another Blightning. Well, 1, 2, 3. Let's Blightning our opponent. Tech Edge, Faithless Looting. Alright. Play a Mountain, pass the turn. Opponent's at 8. We're so close. Opponent. If they pass, we will be super happy for this second Blightning. Yeah, our opponent must have forgot their land drop, because they just discarded a land, too. Huntmaster. Well, that's not bad, but let's just terminate it. Get it off the battlefield. They do get the Wolf token, gain a couple life. We draw another land we didn't really want. Well, blightening our opponent down to 7, empty-handed. Oh man, another anger. All right, pass the turn. We are going to need threats, though. That is our big challenge here. And our opponent has looting to filter. All right, there's looting. So they get to discard what they drew. Basically, it's almost like a ponder here. They get one of their top 3. They discard 2 lands. Get in with the wolf. Well, Aristocrat would be probably our best draw here. Abbot would also be decent. Opponent finds a Loam, so they get their lands back. But our opponent's out of action, so threats can win us the game. There's Aristocrat! Oh my lord! Right on time! Oh, yes! So, this puts our opponent in a position where they got a top deck. They can't dredge, they don't have Faithless Looting anymore, their hand is lands, so they need to top deck a removal spell that deals with Aristocrat right now. Also, that hit puts them in a position where they are dead to Bolt, they are dead to... Wow, our opponent dredged? Am I missing something? Didn't they just have all lands in their hand? How can they dredge there and live? They can't! Opponent scoops it up. Whoo! Alright! Man, that was a timely Falconwrath Aristocrat. Oh, we will take it.